Hello everyone and welcome to another video review by Centipede Geek. Today we're going to review a film by the name of X-Men Days of Future Past. This film is directed by a guy by the name of Bryan Singer. It's written by a few different people by the name of Simon Kinberg, Jane Goldman, and a few other people I believe. It stars people by the name of Hugh Jackman, James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, Jennifer Lawrence, Halle Berry, Ian McKellen. There's several different people, Patrick Stewart, several different people are in this film, Evan Peters, all sorts of different people. So, what is this film all about? Well, if you don't know, I'm sure most of you do know, X-Men Days of Future Past is actually the sequel to First Class that came out a few years ago, I believe back in the year 2011. And so what this film, it's pretty much an origin story to the X-Men, of how the X-Men got together. This, just so you guys know, there will be spoilers later on in this video, but for right now, no spoilers. It has sort of two time periods where part of it takes place in the future where these Sentinels, this guy by the name of Trask, played by the actor Peter Dinklage, He's Dr. Trask. He's created these Sentinels. These Sentinels take out the mutants, take out the X-Men. So there's pretty much, future is the apocalypse. Sentinels have taken over everything. They've wiped out a huge amount of the X-Men. So what they pretty much tried to do is, the X-Men that are left try to send Wolverine's character, they try to send Hugh Jackman's character back to the past, back to the year that John F. Kennedy, around that time. That way they can prevent Mystique from killing Trask. That way, certain things won't happen. That's the main gist for the X-Men film in the name of the X-Men Days of Future Past. Overall, I loved this film. Just so you guys know, I'm a big fan of the first trilogy, X-Men 1, 2, and 3, X-Men 1, X-Men 2 United, and then the third one, The Last Stand. I love the first three films. I really didn't have any problems with them. The third one was always one that I really liked. The first one's great also. But then I really enjoyed First Class. I think First Class is kind of what made my enjoyment of the films rise even more. I always liked the X-Men films, but I think the First Class made me appreciate them on an all-new level. I have to say Days of Future Past is probably, if not, one of my favorites out of the whole X-Men, if not my favorite of the films we've had recently. We had the Wolverine, we had the Wolverine Origins. Once I never saw Wolverine Origins, I was never really too interested. I saw the ending, thought it was kind of whatever. But the Wolverine was decent. After credits scene was the best thing about it, in my opinion. But overall, Days of Future Past almost, sort of knocks the Wolverine out of the water. It's a lot better. It's a really cool film. Let's talk about some of the reasons why I liked it. Performance-wise, I really thought that James McAvoy really stole the show on a lot of scenes. I will say Michael Fassbender was great. This film took the route where the first one made you feel really sentimental. It made you feel for, Michael Fassbender's character. This one does a little bit, but by the end of the film, and you see why, Michael Fassbender's character, playing the character of younger Magneto, he's kind of a douche, he's kind of just a meanie in a big way. I love this character, don't get me wrong, but if you want a character to feel sentimental for, Michael Fassbender's character in this film, for me at least, definitely was the one. Either way, Michael Fassbender is great in this film, a great sinister role. He has some great scenes where he's levitating, getting the mask out, great scene on the airplane where he's yelling at James McAvoy's character, great character in general. But James McAvoy playing the character of young Charles Xavier, this wrecked up guy that keeps taking this medicine unable for him to walk, ends up ditching it later on, that way he can have his mind powers back because of Magneto and other X-Men convincing him. His character was really great. He has some great scenes. I loved his character. Other characters I liked. Evan Peters playing the character of Quicksilver, a really cool character. It's kind of another fun X-Men that I really thought was interesting. There's some winks to other certain characters. Magneto's son. Quicksilver, if you don't know, is Magneto's son. So we see the Scarlet Witch at one point. Not, it may have been unintentional, but we see him holding his sister. That's Scarlet Witch. Now, we're not told that she hasn't become that, but that will soon be here, so it's kind of a wink. We also see Magneto's wife, I believe Magneto's wife, I forget her name, but she was a gypsy, but her name escapes me. Anyways, another really wink to her, too, so that was really interesting, that I thought you get to see these little winks, just really cool stuff. Action-wise, I will say there's not a huge amount of action in this film. There is action, but it's not just action, 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 action. This film has a story while having action also. Most of the action doesn't take place towards the end, and I love the whole concept. It's really science fiction-y X-Men film. This whole concept of sending him back to the past in order to change future events, change the apocalypse from happening. That was really cool. I like the Beast character. I believe the actor that plays him is Nicholas Hoult, I believe. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Anyways, I really liked his character playing Beast. Just really cool stuff. He's got some cool scenes also. This film really revolves around the Mystique character played by Jennifer Lawrence. Now, she doesn't have a lot of dialogue. She's in quite a few scenes, but her character doesn't have a lot of dialogue. But overall, the film does revolve around much of her. So her character was cool. We have Colossus. Colossus doesn't have any dialogue, but still a really cool character. My favorite thing about this film is probably the last, 10 minutes or so, when we're given characters that I didn't expect to see. Characters such as Cyclops, characters such as, Jean Grey, played by the actress Famke Janssen. I really didn't expect to see her. Seeing her reconnect with Wolverine's character, so it connected to, previous films and connected with, so that was really cool. I never expected that, so that was really cool stuff. That was something that was totally unexpected. That's when the film went from being, this great story to also being extremely sentimental at times, and that's why I enjoyed the film so much. We have great action, some great performances, some great scenes overall. It's scenes with Halle Berry, playing Storm. She gets thrown off the cliff and dies. Several people getting killed off. So seeing these characters die pulls your heartstrings a little bit. So these scenes are really cool. Overall, a great film that I really enjoyed. That's my review of the film by the name of The X-Men Days of Future Past. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to my page below, and I'll see you guys later with more videos.